There was some interesting designs in here. Definitely. In a good way, though.
Okay.
I'm not saying... Okay, I see how you feel.
The CGI was way more fleshed out, like you said, in this version. What happened in the original version where it looked so ass? It looked ass.
Bro, I don't work there. Like, he's asking me. Like, I produced this shit, this project. What happened? Bro, I was an audience member just like you, sir. What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to Cinecism. I'm Eric.
It's your boy Dante, man, and today we're going to be doing a review on Zack Snyder's Justice League.
You know, the fans been asking for it for years. I ain't even think it was an actual thing. I'm going to be honest with you.
You thought it was a myth?
Yeah, when people were saying Snyder Cut, I thought that's just what people, the term they coined it. Yeah. I didn't think it was an actual full-length Zack Snyder version of this movie.
Now that I will agree with.
And apparently there was a lot of shit that was excluded from the version, the theatrical release that we got in this movie, which is crazy. The story focuses on Bruce Wayne, Batman, played by Ben Affleck, trying to prevent this intergalactic war from coming by recruiting other superheroes, which includes Wonder Woman, The Flash, Cyborg, Aquaman, and the recently deceased Superman. It's an impending doom coming in the form of Steppenwolf, who is the primary villain, who works for Darkseid, who we also, I don't think, saw in the original cut of this movie either. They're basically trying to collect these items called mother boxes. I do not like that.
Just saying it out loud.
They're trying to collect these
the mother pussy.
These mother bitches. They're trying to collect these mother boxes in order to bring a darkness to the earth. So
you know how this shit go, man.
Yeah.
You know what it is.
I'm like, who really want to live like that?
I swear to God, and I've said this before, man, these villain motivations be so thin, they are paper thin. I hadn't seen this movie since 2017. It was kind of interesting.
Disdain for it.
Yeah.
On several occasions.
I didn't have a disdain for it. I did not love this movie, but I didn't hate it.
It's Batman versus Superman.
That's the one.
Okay.
And Suicide Squad.
Oh.
Those two.
Listen.
But this one, Justice League, I was really indifferent on. I didn't hate it or love it. It was interesting to get this fuller version. I do think it added something to the movie. It certainly gave more character development, at least in the terms of Flash, and especially Cyborg. We got to learn a lot more about him. In the original cut, they kind of felt just thrown into the movie in a sense. You get a little bit more of an organic introduction to them in this movie. So that felt good.
So let's start with Bruce Wayne, Batman. This version of Batman, of course, is a much more seasoned. They mentioned in the movie that he's been doing this for 20 years already. He's already lost a Robin because there's been a few of them. At the Joker's hands. I mean, it's heavily hinted at. He feels like a great deal of remorse and regret for how things went down between him and Superman. He feels heavily responsible, exclusively responsible for Superman's death, which he is.
I was about to say he killed him. It's like pretty much.
Batman is kind of like the glue that brings the team together. In this movie.
Typically, you wouldn't assign that. Think that would be his role because he's more of a recluse, a kind of a loner.
They've been changing how they handle Batman in recent years too, kind of. Like his personality sometimes remain the same, but his role in the Justice League change. It varies as of late. Like I see that in the Young Justice show and in the later DC movies too.
I agree. I know a lot of people had reservations with regards to Ben Affleck playing Batman, and I think we got to see this even in Batman versus Superman too, but he does a pretty good job, I think.
He does. Although I will say I definitely liked him more in Batman versus Superman. He felt more like Batman and Batman versus Superman than he did in the Justice League. I still feel that way even after this cut.
Same. And I tell you something, he was getting the whole hands in here. This ain't a fight he should have been involved with. He should have, even Alfred was like, nigga, you coming to this shit? He's like, bro, maybe you should just sit here. You got the heroes, bro. You got them. You did your part.
I mean, I get that, but the way that his physicality was expressed in Batman versus Superman, I felt like he wasn't shown or portrayed the same way in this movie.
Yeah, he felt more agile.
Yes, we know Batman is a human, but he's like the peak human condition.
That's
so I like him. I like to see him doing shit that regular humans ain't capable of doing.
Yeah.
He's a regular dude, but he's a regular dude in a superhero movie.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
Commit all the way to that.
I agree. He's comparable to like a Black Widow or a Hawkeye. You see them fighting them creatures, so yeah, he can hold his own against at least a minion. I don't expect him to fight Steppenwolf, but
right. You got Wonder Woman, who is the Amazon princess, who's been alive for thousands of years, of course. Batman and her met in the previous movie, Batman vs Superman. So he recruits her. They become pretty close allies, and she also helps and assists him in locating some of these other superpowered beings.
That beginning scene with them goddamn robbers and them terrorists, that shit was crazy because it wasn't this extended in the original version.
The way she was moving was sick,
bro. Crazy.
I really liked the way her action scenes were shot in this movie, man.
I agree.
It just looked dope.
I mean, for the CGI uses, because they sped her up, it didn't look cheesy at all to me. It kind of still translated pretty well. She probably was like the next highest character, I guess, in terms of ass being next to Superman.
She always with the shit. She just be jumping right in, no question.
Ready to go.
All right, then you got Aquaman. So he's the rightful heir to his throne in Atlantis. And he's kind of in a place where he doesn't seem like he feels like he belongs on the surface or, you know, in Atlantis. Kind of just a nomad type dude, just going around, just saving random people.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting that he was still doing acts of heroism. Like he was still trying to be
about to say he was still doing heroin.
He was probably one of the few storylines in here that I just didn't care for. It felt so forced and contrived, that whole tension and conflict. Yeah, because it's like, nigga, just join the Justice League. The fuck? Like, you ain't doing shit. Nigga, stay at a bar.
Sweaters from.
Right.
But you know what, though? I did appreciate they gave subtle hints to his character. Some emotional parts where he felt bad about certain things that transpired. I felt like it made me feel something, at least for his character.
Yeah.
He's not my favorite of the Justice League. Aquaman has never been my favorite superhero, period. No. And this is a very drastically different version of Aquaman than I've ever known on top of that. So I appreciated what they tried to do with it.
Yeah, same. I ain't hate it.
It was what it was.
But
he was just there. He was just another superhero.
Right.
You know, I was never a big fan of Ezra Miller playing the Flash. I'm just going to throw that out there.
I don't like this version.
I liked him in this movie, though. A lot more than I did in the original version of this movie. I thought that he had some dope moments to shine. His action sequences were handled way better, I felt.
I agree.
Just him as a character, I felt like he was just expounded on a bit more than he was in the original cut. Not going to say I'm a big fan of this version of the Flash, but I definitely like this version a lot more in this version of the movie than I did in the previous.
They fleshed him out a lot more. You know, his action scene, especially that scene with the car when he saved the girl.
Yeah.
Then he had that scene at the end. He was supposed to touch the mother box. And it actually, for somebody who knew what happened, I was like, was that supposed to go like that? Like, I actually felt tension. And he did a great job of conveying that. My issue with The Flash isn't really him playing it, it's how the character's written. It's got that Lex Luthor, Batman v Superman vibe. You could make him a comedic character. Obviously, he's supposed to be the comedic relief.
Yeah.
But they went too far with it that his comedic relief don't fit the tone of this movie. He way too quirky. Like, these characters are way too serious. And he's way too out of the realm of this comedy to fit in this movie well. He could still be funny, but just not in this way.
Yeah, because he's like the only comedic element in the entire movie.
Yes.
I always thought it was interesting that they chose to go with the Barry Allen version of the Flash with this personality. I've never known Barry Allen to be like quirky like that, personally. That's more of a Wally West type thing to me. It was just weird that they went that route with him. Then when they could have, especially when they already have Barry Allen, Barry Allen's version of the Flash on the CW show. I didn't understand why they did that. But you know, it is what it is. I still don't know how to feel about it, but I do know I did like him more in this. Not to say I loved him, I definitely liked him more, especially with his end scene. I thought that was dope. It was very reminiscent of like the Flashpoint.
That's what I thought of.
So I thought that was dope.
Yeah.
Okay. Lastly, let's talk about Cyborg.
Yeah.
Who got a lot more character development than he had before. When we first saw Cyborg in the 2017 movie, he was just sad, brooding. I mean, he wasn't very likable. Understandably so. Like, if some shit like that happened to me, I probably wouldn't be super chipper either. But it doesn't make you relate to a character like that. Yeah. But I thought the way they handled him in here was far more relatable. It made me like empathize with him a lot more, especially with his relationship with his dad.
You got to see a lot more of his background and character motivations. In the first movie, like you said, they just kind of throw him in there as this big pit of sad metal. And you're like, nigga, I mean, how I'm supposed to, you know what I'm saying? I can't even connect with that character.
Yeah, we didn't really even know his life. I mean, we knew he played football.
Yeah.
That was all we really knew about him.
You know, I was thinking about that, even with everything you said, which I 100% agree with. And the actor did a great job playing him too, man. Yeah. But I really prefer the Doom Patrol version, bro. Like, I think he's more of a human. This version seems more of like this recently happened. Like he's like this shit happened last week or something. Yeah. And he's just dealing with it. I also will say I appreciate the use in Doom Patrol of the practical effects mixed with sometimes CGI. The way this nigga look, bro, I just can't get behind it, bro. It just look awful, man. It do. I really wish they would have went the Iron Man route, which is maybe when he's in action mode as CGI, and then have some type of at least a practical suit.
And I just watched Terminator 2 recently, and those practical effects of like the cyborg looks hold up significantly better than
it can be done.
It can be done.
It can be done,
with today's technology.
And that's kind of just my own personal take. It's not that the CGI looks horrible. It's just that
overuse of it.
Correct. That's it.
That scene when, you know, Superman first rises back and they out there in the middle of Gotham. It's a CG heavy scene, man. Going back to your point, Cyborg in that scene in particular looks horrible.
Yeah.
Because it's his face. It's like this floating effect.
I can't stand it.
You know, because his eye, the metal piece on his eye, so it's just like his head and neck was just moving weird in that scene to me. And it's always so jarring every time I see it.
Right.
Yeah, it just don't look it don't look natural.
No, but not at all.
You have Henry Cavill's Superman. Yeah, he got a lot more screen time now I think about it. Especially like in the end fight scene, man, when he was just beating the shit out of
no contest. Yeah, I mean, it just was bad.
I really like that they decided to go with the black and silver suit in here too, man. Yeah. I thought that looked dope on screen. He's more or less his same version of Superman in this movie, excluding, you know, when he first came back to life and he's like, trying to beat everybody up. I still like that scene. I don't know how you feel about that scene.
I always liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never had a problem with that scene. I always liked it.
I really like how they handle the power scaling in this movie too with him, because
you get to see it.
Yeah. I mean, this dude is godly compared to everybody else on the Justice League, and they really did a good job at expressing that in film.
All I remember thinking to myself while watching this again was like, why would you create a character like this? Like, this nigga literally, nobody can beat him. They had to invent kryptonite. Because I'm like, dude, you gave him every power. It's like a kid made this nigga. Super strength, can fly, he fast, he's strong. Like, nigga, who's gonna beat him? Just the fact that the mother box didn't even call out to niggas till he was dead tells you something. They knew. They was like, bro, is he still on the planet? No, absolutely not. I'm not fucking with that.
That's wild.
They fixed his lip.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
It was like night and day, man.
Thank God.
I just thought it was just a bizarre set of circumstances when it came. It was just such a controversial topic. The face and mustache. I just thought that shit was hilarious.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
Him as a character, though, like, what did you think? Did you have an opinion on him? Was he any better or worse than
Superman? One of my least favorite heroes. I'm biased. I'm biased. And you know how I felt about Man of Steel, too. Like, this version of Superman, I'm not the biggest fan of. Yeah. Henry Cavill does a great job. It's not him.
I wouldn't say I've ever been a huge fan of Superman either. I was a fan when I was a kid, but he was never my favorite.
I like flawed heroes, man. People you can relate to.
I thought he was cool. I'm still not sold on him and Amy Adams, Lois Lane. Something about it just I don't know.
I feel like they wrote them in a way that we already know that it's Lois Lane and Superman, but they didn't build that in this particular universe. Just already kind of leaning on the nostalgia that you know about their connection, you know about their love, but I feel like in this universe, they haven't sold me on it.
Do you want to talk about the villains at all? Or the villain? Primary villain? Steppenwolf. I want to take over the world, you know. I mean, he got redesigned.
How'd you feel about his redesign?
I mean, he was spiky as a
Dave.
It looked cool. He looked cool though.
They gave him less of a human face, which somehow looked a lot better. Like you would have thought that the man face would have been the more realistic. The CGI on his face was very well done.
Yeah, he had a very alien look to him for sure.
Yeah,
not just a freak.
Yeah,
but an alien freak.
Right.
He was fucking people up in there. Oh my God, he was tearing the Amazon.
Yeah, that was bad. That was actually very bad. Oof. In fact, he was doing a lot of just dominating. It was just long blows.
He was,
just swiping niggas.
He was relentless. I mean, he went down to Atlantis and was fucking people up.
All in people's house. Like, what the fuck is you doing, bro?
There was a few things that felt a little thrown in. Yeah. You know, this movie was not flawless.
No.
Major improvement, but it was far from flawless.
No.
But, they had the Martian Manhunter in there at the end.
That was interesting.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting.
You know what that epilogue felt like to me? It felt like a collection of after credit scenes. I didn't think that they would have been, I couldn't think of where they would have placed them in the movie.
Yeah. Why did he visit Lois as Martha Kent?
But they keep saying that she's the key. So I think that's what it's ultimately going to be about. He needs to get to know her in some way. She's going to play some significance in the later movies or something. How do you feel about his character design?
I mean, he looked like himself.
Yeah. Yeah, recognizable for sure.
I feel like for somebody like him, man, it's hard to fuck him up. Like, you really got to make him look drastically different. Like, he a weird looking character anyway, so
easy.
As long as he green and got the damn harness on or whatever he be wearing.
He got the service dog back.
Honestly, I would have rather seen a Green Lantern, like an actual known Green Lantern, than seen him. They had Green Lanterns in there, which was dope.
Yeah.
Which they had like one Green Lantern, I think, in the first one. But it was cool to see the Green Lanterns. But I swear, Green Lanterns always be getting their asses handed to them every time I see it. And they supposed to be like the most powerful, or one of the most powerful corps like in the galaxy or in the universe, really. But I feel like they always be getting their ass whooped,
that dude in here, that Green Lantern in here got his ass handed. But he didn't try to go straight up with Darkseid though. Like maybe he should have fought a minion or something like that.
Them rings be dipping out though, boy. After you be
because he tried to grab it. That bitch said,
they'll be wasting no time. They'll try to revive it.
Like, nigga, I'm dead. You ain't gonna try no life support or nothing. But that nigga dead on to a new owner. You killed me, nigga. I told you to make a tank.
I thought it was dope to see, what was that, Zeus?
Yeah, they had Greek gods in here. That was random.
Zeus was snapping, dog. Bro, he looked like he was straight out of 300.
He did.
I was like,
that Leonidas?
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck is that?
That's what I was thinking.
Well, I guess we gotta just mention the adding of Darkseid. That was pretty significant. Was it even mentioned in the first movie that Steppenwolf worked for Darkseid? I felt like they never even mentioned his name. It was not
explicit. If they mentioned it, it was not.
I think it was ambiguous. Like I serve a master. You know how they be.
I really liked how accurate his design was, man. He looked surprisingly like himself. They were pretty true to his design in this movie.
I agree. I ain't know about that chasm in his shit though. That nigga had an indentation. I said, what the fuck happened there? This is another thing I'll say. I mean, they've said this in the past, but you can really see that Marvel and DC was jacking for characters. I mean, Deathstroke is clearly Deadpool. Vision is clearly Martian the Manhunter. Thanos looked like a version of Darkseid.
You got Slade Wilson, Wade Wilson.
Right.
I think Deadpool was like one of the most intentional rip-offs. Like
that's a theft. I don't feel like Darkseid and Thanos have similar design, but they're similar characters.
I mean,
you know
they got that skin.
Yeah, right.
You know that raisin ass villain skin. They be that otherworldly skin, that flesh. Let's talk about that entire scene.
Yes,
actually, that future, that alternate future world or whatever. It ain't the team I was expecting to see. I'm gonna tell you that.
That might have been the most random hodgepodge of niggas I ever. I was like, bro, you ain't gonna do nothing with these niggas. Strongest person on there was Myrna from Atlantis.
Yeah, physically, but I think the most powerful was probably the Flash, though.
The Flash one in there?
They only showed him for a second.
I ain't
rewatch that scene. He was there because he had the arm on. I'm gonna tell you something about that scene that probably ain't make you notice him. They ain't seem like they was all there at the same time. Like it didn't feel like everybody was shot at that scene at the same time.
Okay.
Jared Leto's Joker was definitely not as over the top as he was in Suicide Squad. He was still his version, but just a far more toned down version. Their whole little interaction, man, it just felt it felt like it went on a bit too long for me.
It was
especially with a group of people standing around. Like, what the fuck was they doing while they were having this conversation?
Exactly. I think they just kind of fed into the fan service aspect. They wanted to spend the most time on them two because that would probably be the most interesting interaction out of all of them. But it felt extended. It was unnecessarily long. The exchange they had was cool. It just didn't mean much just because you don't really know this world's Batman. Once again, feeding into the history that you know of the character instead of what they've established here. He kind of hinted at the whole thing with Robin That didn't happen here. You know, I didn't understand why he even on the team. I guess they'll address that further. What could he possibly add besides chaos?
Right.
And betrayal.
They keep talking about these things that have happened between them, but they've only talked about it. We haven't really seen it. We haven't seen any of the Robins or any of his Batman's proteges. So, I mean, it's just words.
Like, it just don't carry no weight.
Yeah, it doesn't. And plus, this is still a very, of a more recent Batman on top of that. So, we don't have the history that they alluded to throughout these movies that they seemingly have.
So, what does this mean? You think this is actually going to be the next? Is this just some
I'm
bullshit?
glad you asked that because I wanted to talk about theories too. Because after the response to the Justice League movie, I don't think they were going to move forward with this current DC extended universe. So maybe now that the fans rally for this Snyder cut, and now that they've seen it and it's significantly better than the previous cut of the movie. They might move forward with this universe. I don't know.
I think they need to build this world a little bit better. But yeah, I would like to. Instead of trying to catch up to what Marvel's done, which has taken years and years and years of movies and planning, they need to just flesh this out a little bit more. So when they do something, like if they're going to choose to do a Darkseid storyline where he actually come and fuck shit up and it's like this, then it means something. It's worth a damn. Like as of right now, if this was the next movie, I mean, who's going to care? You know, you don't know any of these characters well at all, except for, I guess, Wonder Woman. I want to see more individuality first before we start getting into a team.
You know, it's weird. I kind of felt bad for Steppenwolf at the end by the time he got beheaded. And I don't know why.
He seemed really remorseful about whatever he did. And the actor did a great job because I was just like you. I felt for him, man. When Darkseid showed up, when the dude told me he couldn't come home, that nigga said, you got 50,000 worlds left to conquer before you can come home. I said, oh, this nigga is dead. Like, he done got student loans.
Yeah.
Nigga ain't never coming home.
Superman was punching this man into the ground for like 5 minutes. I was like, yo, ain't nobody gonna stop this man? Like, he down. Then he got sent back to the portal and then beheaded on his way home.
That shit was wild. I was like, he ain't deserved that. I won't be really, he didn't deserve that outcome. He didn't do nothing in this movie that would warrant that.
He was definitely killing people.
Yeah, but it was people we ain't know. He ain't killed no major characters.
I mean, Darkseid was probably gonna kill him anyway, but
without a doubt,
how unbothered he was by the head that slid to his feet.
This movie is better than the original version. I say that much. The problems that I had with this movie are still there, though. I think it's a lot of what we just was talking about with just character investment and the story, bro. It's just hard to get behind these motivations. Steppenwolf motivations, Darkseid motivations. It's just like, all right, you gotta give them more of a relatable conquest, bro, than just I'm evil, fuck the world. It's not cutting it no more, at least for me. I don't like this world, this colorless world that they create. Everything's so bland in the set pieces where they fought, with the exception of the Amazon shit. Everywhere else they fought could be interchangeable. That little underground place, it was dark and shadowy. Then they fought on that planet, it was dark and shadowy and misty. Everywhere just bland and sterile, and their colors are muted, and Steppenwolf's design is silver, and so is Cyborg. Like, characters just look way too bland for me. I'd like to see these people a little less serious, at least for it to be even somehow. All of these characters are brooding and dark. You need some variation in character, man, or else, you know, it's just not enjoyable to watch.
Overall, I thought this was a major improvement on the original theatrical version of the Justice League we got. I did not even expect to enjoy it as much as I did. I thought it was far superior. From a technical standpoint, it definitely looked better as well. The CGI was handled better. The character designs were better as well. And the character development overall, I thought was superior. So I'm going to give Zack Snyder's Justice League an 8 out of 10.
My main issue with this movie has always been the storyline, and I just felt like that was still prevalent here. But with the additional character development, especially with regards to Cyborg and Flash, that helped me a lot. I think that added something to the overall enjoyment, at least for me. Overall, for me, I'm gonna give it a 7. It's definitely something I will watch again. It won't be no time soon, but I'll watch it again for sure.
I will say, man, I haven't said all that. I still don't think this movie had to be 4 hours long. It was some fat that could have been trimmed, but you know, I did appreciate the level of detail they went into with some some of the characters. Thank y'all for tuning in to our review of Zack Snyder's Justice League. As always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And if you have any suggested reviews for any TV shows or movies or trailers for upcoming movies, please don't forget to drop a comment below.
Absolutely. And if you guys have seen Justice League, please let us know. The Zack Snyder cut, what did you guys think of it? How do you feel about how this compares to the original version that we got?
Also, do y'all think they're going to move forward with the Justice League and, you know, all of these characters? I know we have other upcoming DC movies, but has it been confirmed that they're going to continue with this universe or not? Please let us know.
We appreciate y'all, man.
Yeah, thank y'all.
Peace.
Peace.